Hi, Pat the podcast editor here. Only joking, it's Dan. On average, TikTok's 1 billion users spend 45 minutes a day on the platform, which is mental. And in today's episode, I share some practical tips and tools you can use to come up with 100 plus TikTok trend ideas in 15 minutes. Anyone who is considering creating content on TikTok or currently creating content on TikTok, this is like the gateway to help you do that. So, get ready to overcome that creative block and turn into a TikTok content machine. This is episode 98 of the Business Anchors podcast.
We're just a couple of business anchors. Welcome to the Business Anchors podcast. This jingle is slightly too long. This jingle is slightly too long.
How can you come up with 100 TikTok ideas in 15 minutes, Dan?
You listen to this episode, of course, Lloyd.
Okay, but what are you going to say in this episode, Dan?
Well, we're going to be talking about coming up with TikTok ideas. And
the way you started that sentence reminded me of the guy that says, "It's Ollie Ball here."
Oh, yeah.
And I think that's on TikTok as well.
Yeah. Have you seen the chip shop thing going viral?
Binley, no, what was it? Binley?
What's it called again?
Mega Chippy? Binley Mega Chippy. Binley Mega
Yeah, just random. But yeah, that's actually relevant because it's come from TikTok. But no, the reason I wanted to do this episode is because we work with lots of brands and to support them with their TikTok, and we've got our own TikTok channel. And there's lots of really great tools that we've discovered to come up with cool TikTok ideas. And I thought business anchors would want to listen to us sharing what those tools and ways of coming up with content ideas.
But aren't we a bit old for TikTok, isn't it? All girls dancing and lip syncing, Dan.
Well, lots of people think that, but you're wrong.
Oh, I thought I was right.
There's actually, if you're a Business Anchors listener, you'll know that we've been banging on about getting on TikTok for ages now. But there's a crazy amount of organic reach that you can generate from TikTok. Like, remember you used to generate from Facebook?
Yes. We used to get most of our business through Facebook.
Yeah.
And next year, most of our business might be through TikTok.
Yeah.
Who knows?
So, there's a number of different kind of tools and people that you can follow that will help you come up with different...
Before we start that, is this guidance, just so the anchors know, is this for people who, like businesses and brands that are already on not Facebook, already on Facebook, already on TikTok to improve what they're doing, or is it for people that aren't even on it?
I think both.
Okay.
Anyone who is considering creating content on TikTok or currently creating content on TikTok, this is like the gateway to help you do that. Because there's some really, and again, we've only learnt this through creating lots of content for TikTok, but there's some really basic and quite easy things you can do and look at to get ideas for TikToks that have a good chance of doing well.
Nice.
So yeah,
nice.
That's the answer to that.
Okay, thank you for that answer.
So shall I get into one of the first things that...
Go for it.
So this is, if you're on TikTok, you would have seen this before, but on TikTok, there's a variety of people who, I don't know if their like job is just being a creator or if this is just something they do in their spare time, but they create lots of content that tells you what the latest trends are to tap into.
Oh, what? They are within TikTok?
Yeah.
They're making TikToks about what's working.
So it's very meta, but they create TikToks telling you this trending sound is currently quite small, but it's blowing up. You should create a...
Oh, I haven't seen that.
Yeah. I mean, this is where I get a lot of my personal TikTok ideas from.
Oh, I just thought you were really clever.
No.
Okay, cool.
But yeah, that's what they do. They talk about, and from our experience of creating TikToks for brands and ourselves, tapping into trends is one of the most effective ways you can reach the largest audiences and engage that audience. And for those that don't know, like trending sounds, TikTok is all about like tapping into trending sounds, and it's not just weird dancing. I know you mentioned that earlier, Lloyd, but you can create relatable TikToks like with relatable kind of text overlaid over it using sounds that lots of people are creating videos for. And then, yeah,
because that was one of my like critical thoughts on this, of tapping into trends for your business and for brands. I was thinking, is there any point of tapping into these trends if it's not relevant to your business and you're just trying to get attention for the sake of it. But then I suppose thinking about your TikTok, I think actually your account is quite a good example of how to link certain trends with what you do as a job and what we do within our business.
You're exactly right. So just tapping into trends that's nothing related to your business I don't think is the best approach to go for, because you're just going to build an audience of people on TikTok who like funny videos.
Yeah.
Whereas what I've done with my kind of personal TikTok and with our Knowlton TikTok, the guys do, is trying to tap into trends that are relatable to marketers from brands. So like things like office culture and things that are going on in the office, or another thing that I've kind of spoken about is sales in marketing. So when like an agency's pitching to marketers from a brand and that kind of thing. So it's about trying to think about starting with the who. We always talk about this, like as a business, if you're using TikTok, you really need to think about who is it you're actually trying to convince to do something.
Yeah.
Who is it you're trying to attract and convince them to buy your product or invest in your services? And once you understand that, then you can start to create kind of TikToks that tap into these trends that we're going to talk through, but it's related to what you actually do. Then you're building an audience of people who are going to help you achieve what you want to achieve, rather than like 12-year-olds that just like being on TikTok.
Yeah, because I've seen some business owners or like people in prominent roles within businesses, and maybe this is just they're doing it for fun and to learn about the platform, so fair enough. But I've seen some of them are putting out generic TikToks that are just in line with trends, nothing to do with what they're doing in their business. And I have kind of thought, is that more to do with ego? Because I suppose if you were putting out more generic, relatable trends to a much wider audience, you like for your personal account, what's the handle for your personal account, Dan?
Dan Knowlton, my name.
Oh, cool, Dan Knowlton. You probably could have grown and could be growing quicker, but I guess you'd be growing a very generic audience. There might be lots of 15-year-olds in Australia rather than people in marketing and businesses that we could potentially work with down the line in the future. I
think there are, to kind of go back on that, there are other creative ways that you can integrate what you do. So it's not just funny videos that will relate to everyone. Like recently, I'm not going to give too much detail away because it was still ongoing, but we've got an opportunity to work with a really exciting company, and we've done lots of research on their current TikTok. And what's really working for them is original content that's their content that they've produced, that they've repurposed for TikTok, with relatable kind of text overlaying it that will be relevant to lots of people. But the way they're integrating what they do is by sharing their own original content that they've produced for their own TV shows previously.
Yeah. Got it.
So going to number one, these are the accounts that you can follow. You know, I mentioned the accounts you can follow. So there's a really good girl on TikTok called Trend Bible.
Okay.
And she, every day she'll post, like I mentioned, this sound is blowing up. What you need to do is say something that you remembered when you were younger and that kind of thing. There's another one called Wave Wild. So it's spelled WAVEWYLD. That's another great one.
Controversial spelling of Wave
I know,
Wild
it's difficult on a podcast to try and give you the spelling.
Yeah, good luck finding that one.
Another one called Sydney Socials, SYDNEYSOCIALS.
Nice.
And yeah, there's just a few that you can look at. So just following them on TikTok alone will help you come up with shitloads of content ideas, because they're literally telling you.
And I suppose if they're telling you loads of trends, you can then handpick the ones that you think you could adapt to make relevant for what you're doing and what's important to you, what you're posting on your account.
Exactly right. And because the TikTok algorithm is so clever, when you start to follow these types of accounts and you start to interact with their content, you'll start to see content from other accounts that you don't know that do this thing where they tell you trending sounds that you should tap into.
Does that make sense? You've seen loads and I haven't seen any.
Yeah, exactly. Because I'm constantly watching their content.
Yeah.
So that's one way that you can come up with loads of TikTok ideas. And I've got quite a few for you.
Okay.
So the second way, have you ever heard of Later?
It comes just after now, doesn't it?
No. It's a social media tool.
Oh, right. Yeah, because I was talking about how you describe the time.
No, you heard of Later, the social media tool?
No, I haven't actually, Dan.
So it's quite a cool tool for scheduling content on Instagram. But what I think's even better is their blog.
Okay.
And they've got this blog where they share really useful strategies and tips and tutorials on how you can create content for TikTok and Reels. But the one thing that they share, which is really useful for coming up with TikTok ideas, is they've got a TikTok trends blog and also a Reels trends blog that they update every week with the latest trends from that week that you can tap into.
Okay.
And they give you examples and how you can use it. So literally just Google Later TikTok trends blog or Later Reels trends blog. And
now I can see how people get hundreds of ideas from this.
yeah, like
simple.
I think because I personally am spending a lot of time on TikTok and I have to come up with ideas personally all the time. I've spent so much time like looking for all these different things to make my life easier.
Yeah, we do need to talk about how much time you're spending on TikTok at work, Dan. There are some other things we need to do.
It's useful though. It's useful for us to come up with ideas. So number 3, you can use TikTok's inbuilt search functionality to search keywords that are related to your business or industry and then look at the search results and look at the top videos, and you can get loads of great ideas from videos that people are already creating that are getting lots of views and engagement. And you can get, like, for example, the way I use this for our marketing agency is I'll type in keywords like marketing agency or social media marketing, and then you can look at the top search results, look at the top videos. You can get ideas from videos people are already creating that are doing well. And it's quite clever because you're basically using data to see what other people are doing that's trending, and then you can get inspiration and ideas to create your own style of that video, creating your own trend.
It's one of those things that seems too simple, but it makes sense on most social media platforms. Of if you can see the best performing content in your kind of area, it makes sense to be inspired by that. Not necessarily just copying. And I know on TikTok, I think a lot of people do literally just copy it. Yeah. But being inspired by the best stuff and noticing patterns in the best stuff, that just makes logical sense, doesn't it? Another
thing I haven't mentioned, which I feel really strongly about, is...
Number 4 or 3.5?
This is just a point.
Okay, cool.
TikTok, there's such a low barrier to entry to create content on TikTok. So like, if you're listening to this and thinking, oh, I don't like making videos, oh, I don't have a fancy camera, oh, I don't know how to properly edit videos, TikTok is a really great platform to start with because, one, highly produced videos where people are really skilled at editing don't do as well as lower production value videos that are cleverly tapping into trends. Like if you're good at thinking strategically and implementing these things that I'm talking about, you can come up with really creative ideas that will pop, and you don't have to be good at editing or being on video and that kind of thing. So yeah, just a little point.
Basically no excuses, because this one, you don't need all those skills that previously you've made excuses as to why you can't use that platform.
Yeah, you literally have no excuses to not create content on TikTok. So I don't want to hear you messaging us saying, oh, I'm scared, I don't want to do it.
Yeah, I don't want to hear it either, by the way.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So the next one, another way that you can come up with lots of creative TikTok ideas is to use TikTok's Creative Center. Have you heard of TikTok's Creative Center, Lloyd?
I haven't actually.
It's fairly new, so you probably haven't.
Okay.
But it's basically on there's loads of inspiration for TikToks you can create. It's something that TikTok have actually created.
Yeah.
And they've got a trend section, which is another resource to look at what TikTok are saying is trending. And they've got like a breakout section as well. So they've got big trending content that's like big artists and stuff music that's trending. But then they have smaller, more niche videos that are really starting to grow. So you can get loads of ideas from there. There's literally so many places that you can easily get ideas for TikToks. I'm hoping people actually do this stuff because it's really useful.
Yeah. Nice. I already feel like they've got 100, but is there more ways
to get more
ideas? Okay, nice. Give me more ideas.
There's more ways, Lloyd.
Is there a number 4? Fourth way.
Fourth
way.
Is it fourth?
Or fifth?
I think it's fourth.
Okay, cool.
So this is really simple but really effective. Is to actually spend time on TikTok in your FYU page. Which is basically when you open the app, it's how you scroll through content.
FYU.
FYP page, For You page, sorry.
All right, boomer.
For
On
You
your
page.
FYU page.
Sorry.
On TikTok.
My mouth doesn't work as fast as my brain's thinking. So
open up TikTok on your FYU page. You've seen some things that are trending using your hashes on the yep.
On FaceTalk.
Mm-hmm.
So if you actually spend time on TikTok if you actually spend time on the For You page on TikTok and scroll through and actually start consuming some content, you'll start to notice TikToks where people are tapping into the same trending sounds or doing the same trends. And just spending time on the platform, you'll start to notice you'll just know what's trending because you'll keep seeing the repeated trends happening. That's just another small tip. I've come up with random ideas before because I've thought, in the last half an hour, 5 people have tapped into this same trend.
Is there any strategy you use to kind of make notes of those or save them or anything just to make sure?
Yeah, you can click save on TikToks.
That makes me sound like a bit. Oh, interesting.
But something I actually do is I like the ones that give me inspiration, and then on your own TikTok profile, you can just click on the heart, and you can see all the stuff you've liked.
Just to easily.
So whenever I'm coming up with a TikTok idea, I just look at that heart section, and
Right.
it's really useful.
Nice little tactic there.
Little tic tac.
Yeah.
One final thing.
Yeah.
I know you're already sick of me telling
I'm
you how
not
you
sick
can
of
come up with
anything,
ideas.
Dan. I've got thousands of TikTok ideas now.
One final thing. This is a really cool tool called copy.ai.
Mm-hmm.
And
Copy I.
yeah, that's it.
That's how I pronounce it.
And in there, they've got a section where it automatically comes up with hooks for content, and like an idea for here's 5 ways you can improve your.
Right.
You give it you use the settings to give it like what industry you're in and that kind of thing, and click the button, and it just comes up with interesting hooky content ideas.
Okay.
And you can just do that and come up with. It tells you content ideas that you can use.
Oh. So all this time, I've just thought you're clever coming up with these ideas, and actually, you just have these tools that do it for you.
Yeah.
Wow. Shouldn't have given that away.
Yeah. So hopefully, I know this has probably been a bit of a shorter episode, but hopefully, anchors. Also, if you're kind of sitting on the edge of should I try TikTok or not, I really think that TikTok's going to continue to grow and the audience is going to continue to grow and age up as well. So if you are still thinking, oh, it's 12-year-olds dancing, it really isn't. When you look at like the brands that are on there and how much time people are spending on there,
I think it's following exactly the same paths that other social media platforms that it's a no-brainer to use for business now went on previously, kind of a decade ago. Like Facebook. Some of you might not be old enough to know this, but Facebook, we went through exactly the same thing of businesses going, oh, Facebook for business? Why would I ever do that? And then it was conversations of, oh no, actually a lot of people, it's not just kids and university students on it now, there are more people on there. And it was all the same conversations. And then it's like, oh, it's not just kids. And then you can do ads now. And then a couple of years later, it was like, oh, it's a no-brainer to run ads on these platforms as a business. And I think it would be naive to think that TikTok is any different, that we're not just repeating this process of people doubting it. And then it could be a tool that really you're going to be at disadvantage in the next 2 or 3 years if you're not using it.
History leaves clues.
It does.
It does.
History leaves clues. Dan Knowlton, 2022.
And even like one more thing, just one final thing, because I'm quite passionate about this.
Mm-hmm.
So even if you're a B2B business and you're thinking TikTok's not for B2B, it doesn't even help us. Some of my most viral LinkedIn posts that have attracted the most lucrative B2B deals are TikToks that I've downloaded and posted on LinkedIn. So as a B2B business, we're generating some of our most lucrative business through utilizing the TikTok platform and then distributing that content in the places where our decision makers in the B2B world are.
So even if after everything we've said, you're still doubting us that it's a good idea to be on TikTok as a business, you can just get in there for now to take those TikToks and put on LinkedIn.
Yep.
And then in 2 years, you can thank us when you're getting all your business leads through TikTok. You can say, oh, Lloyd and Dan Knowlton were right. They're so brilliant. And Lloyd's got a great beard.
Your beard is looking pretty good, to be fair. I will give you that.
Thank you. Thank you very much. History leaves clues.
That
Is that not how? That's not when you use it.
Beards leave clues.
Okay. Yeah.
To what you had for lunch. Thank you for listening. I hope this has been a good episode. I'm really excited for the next episode, which is going to be all about LinkedIn.
Oh, if you're so excited, why didn't you sound excited when you said it?
I'm really excited about the next episode.
Cool, me too. Right. I mean, if it's already out, let's listen to it together now. Or if it's not, come back next Thursday. See you in your ears next week or in a minute, maybe.